Hey guys, it's Woody the Unexceptional Gamer, and I was just reading about Kony. Do you guys remember Kony? Kony 2012 from last year? It was this like super huge, big viral video. It has almost 100 million views, which is incredible. And it exploded. It started getting coverage by like CNN and all these crazy things. And it had me wondering, like, whatever happened to that thing? And where was the truth in it? What happened was this. The video went up, and it was something done by invisible children. And within first it exploded and everybody was like, yay, yay, Kony 2012. And then like a weird thing happened. Like everyone said that it was a scam. That because there's like this cultural thing, like if someone says it's a scam, it's almost like they have this inside knowledge that you don't, and then everybody wants to sort of jump on that, like, oh, I heard it was a scam, therefore I know something. Suddenly everybody is an expert in Ugandan politics, and they seem to know about Kony and his history and all this crazy stuff, and it's all brand new. None of us had any expertise in it. But, if someone says, like, look, I know this guy, he's a fraud, then people tend to believe it, even though there's, not a lot of evidence about it. So then what eventually happened was this. The guy that, like, made this super viral video was getting all this attention and all this hate, and then suddenly, like, he couldn't take the stress anymore. He flipped out, and he started, I don't know if he was masturbating or just diddling himself or what, but he was in his underwear or less in the streets of LA, and his cause lost any credibility that it may have had, because, that's what happens, I guess, when you diddle yourself in the streets of LA. You lose your credibility. But now that the dust has had time to settle, I've been reading about Kony some more, I thought, you know what, I'm going to talk about this thing and see like what really happened in this whole deal. So let's break it down. So the truth is nuanced, right? There's some details involved. Central African politics are not simple, and I don't pretend to be an expert, but I did some research for this video. Invisible Children has been around since 2004, and they're not evil, right? They were 8 years old when the Kony 2012 thing happened. It was a couple filmmakers who went to Darfur and were so impacted by what they saw that they had to make a difference. They saw young boys being killed and enlisted into the army. They saw young girls being raped, sometimes as, what do they call it? The treasures of war, the rewards of war, something like that. And, they're like, we have to make this stop. And they saw Kony as the worst of the worst. They understand that the truth is somewhat more nuanced in the middle. Like, they get that. But they also understand that if you want to make a really popular video, you can't get 100 million people to take an interest in nuanced Central African politics. Heck, I bet there's a bunch of guys that have stopped watching this one right now. The attention spans just aren't that long. The truth is that the Ugandan army does a lot of the same horrible things that the Kony army did, right? They rape children, they kill boys, and it's terrible. So why making them the good guys that need to chase down Kony when you could just have easily made this video in reverse and said, we need to stop the Ugandan army, etc. Kony was not even in Uganda. Well, no one knows exactly where he is, but he was thought to be in Congo. So essentially what he's trying to do is get the Ugandan army to cross the border into Congo and take out a guy who's there. What that can do is get him the support of Congo, because no one likes having another country's army in your borders. Like that's a big rule. You can't do that. You can't invade my country trying to get some guy out of it. It's my country, not yours. So they're like, man, I can't think of a dumber thing to do than this. But some quote unquote good did come out of it. Like, it wasn't just slacktivism. They were trying to raise attention on the issue. So attention was raised, and the United States put a bill out. It turned out it got 37 senators to support it. You need 51, but that's attention. And a couple of Central African governments put together a 5,000 man force. So Uganda themselves added 3,000 men to the coalition, and then I guess a couple other countries contributed 2,000, and boom, now you have a 5,000 man force searching for Kony. that's not just slacktivism, right? Like that's actual progress on the issue. You know, it's a shame that the guy couldn't handle the hate and started masturbating in the streets of LA, but you know, he made a viral video that caused people to take action, that got attention in the United States, that got armies formed in Central Africa. So, you know, that counts for something. But, you know, sadly, there is an update too. In Uganda, there was some rebels just took over the country, and they decided to pull their 3,000 men out of that 5,000 person coalition. So I don't know if it's going to be a 2,000 man coalition or if it's going to end. Like, Uganda's out, I'm out, screw it, we're all done, leave Kony alone. But oh, and by the way, they acted like Kony was still powerful. He's not. You know, Kony doesn't have nearly the influence that he did when they first made the... No, Kony doesn't have nearly the influence that he did at his peak. He didn't have the influence before they made the video that they kind of pretended that he had. But, you know, that's the nature of getting people to rally your support. They almost had to distort it so that they could make a difference. And then once they made their difference, you know, it was all like it. I don't know. Like it. What has me on this thing is it's a lot more complicated than people made it out to be. They acted like they were in the know. That, you know, suddenly, presto, I'm an expert in Central African politics. The Kony 2012 is a big scam, and you know, that's where the truth is. The actual truth was always somewhere in the middle. The actual truth was always this, you know, like, yeah, they kind of exaggerated what Kony's been doing lately. They kind of, you know, made the Ugandan army out as our potential saviors when they're not. They're just as bad. They acted like a lot of things that weren't necessarily true. And you know, but on the other hand, they did all this kind of with pure intentions, hoping that that they would get something done. So I don't like. Do you judge them by the end, or do you judge them by how they got there? Not a lot of kills, but I had 0 deaths and 5 caps. I don't know, but yeah. So they stopped chasing Kony now. At least Uganda did. And the people weren't so evil after all. And slacktivism actually had some kind of impact. That's the update on this thing. It's not a nice and tight, clean ending. That's where we are.